it's very difficult to just stand and hold the silence. And it is very important to hold the silence because all the worthwhile things come up when you prepare to hold the silence. When people sense that you're not doing this as an activity, that there is a real intent to co create something. And so it doesn't matter. After 5 minutes of silence, nobody has anything to add. It's okay to say, it looks like we don't have too much to think or to share around this issue. And maybe we can circle back a little later and check if there is something that we find within.
Yeah, this is Chief. Um, the scenario that you're talking about is when you ask a question and then there is silence, and then there is another silence when there's a very interesting appointment point that has been raised, and then there is silence, and that's the silence when many of them process it. The silence is when people are processing. I mean, even in the silence as a facilitator, when I stand there, what I hear is the gears actually rolling within the heads of people. And the worst thing to do is moving on to the next topic or repeating a point that has been made because it kind of obstructs the flow, the processing something. Because in adult learning, the mind is connecting some dots somewhere and creating its own aha moment, and that happens in silence. So yes, holding that silence or creating that space for that silence to linger, for that uncomfortable for the facilitator, but maybe very comforting for the participant. And that 3 to 4 to 5 minute, I think yes, it's very difficult because many times a facilitator might start judging themselves. Is this lack of vocal exchange and an indication of lack of interest, or am I not doing something fine? But then this awareness of allowing the silence to help you take the session along is extremely important. Thanks for sharing that.
There is also, so while there is holding the silence, and it works both ways when you ask a question and then hold the silence, but you've hopefully arrived at that question through a logical analysis of what has flowed so far. You say, okay, if you are saying this and you're saying this and you're saying this, then is this the real question? And what do you think? And so you are helping the group connect the dots to process it and so hold the silence. The flip side to it is also the other part of it is when somebody makes a remark or provides an insight that's very deep. And there is a kind of a, you can sense that people have stood back and they are looking at what has just been contributed and they are examining it. And so it is good to stay there a while and to help process it, to look around and see from the body language who is ready and they're kind of willing to reflect on the insight. And so invite that. And so it's good to, hold that silence and to process what the group has learned. One of the things that helps me tremendously is, and I think it helps in multiple ways, both in situations of a silence or a pause, as well as in terms of understanding what to do, whether to change the pace or do an activity or to kind of do a refresh is and I don't know, and I'd love to hear from you, is that I think I can sense the energy in the participants. I can sense what's happening at an energy level.
Mm.
Is it steady? Is it engaged? Is it going up? Is it going down? Has it come to a stop? So I visualize, I think I'm able to sense this as a very fluid thing that is occurring within the participants, amongst the participants in this in the group, and it helps me do multiple things. And so I don't know. I want to check with you: is that something that you have also experienced, and is you have thoughts around that? And
Oh
what?
yes, I mean, understanding the energy levels of the room is extremely important, um, and I think, I mean, how I go about doing this is um, the eye contact that a facilitator makes with everybody. It could be a group of 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 35, 40, 45, how much ever. But I believe the minute somebody feels that I am not being spoken to, I think that's when mentally people check out. Uh, like, like in a normal lecture, in a college lecture, I mean, people who want to take a nap, they sit in the last bench because they feel they're not in the sight, they're not in the line of sight. Uh, so my energy is pretty much immaterial. So I can check out. But the eye contact with everybody and everybody feeling that okay, fine, I'm being spoken to, and reading a doubt in the eyes of somebody, reading the question somebody has. They are yet to formulate that question, but you can see that they are not very sure about what was just being said. And when that engagement happens, so I see that I see, I mean, there is something that you want to ask. Would you want to go ahead and throw that question in front of all of us? And they feel they are heard, they've been observed. So even though it is in a group, people feel that it's more like a one-on-one conversation that they are having, and everybody feels that the facilitator is actually interacting with me. And I think that helps the energy. But reading the energy of the room, especially, um, we understand now that um, the attention span is consistently coming down. I mean, it's not going up. I can say that much. So every 15 minutes, what I try to do is every 15 minutes for a minute, minute and a half. I know that a majority of the audience will now check out and kind of think of something else. So after 15 minutes, I say, okay, fine. I mean, I don't announce this, but I deviate along with them. The conversation could go on a tangent, slight tangent, something related, but not very concretely connected to the topic. That 60, 90-second detour, a conversation, and then you go along with them and then bring them back. And and that's, I mean, the point from where I started doing this is when I got more of the feedback that I didn't even realize that we got done with the 4 hours. We got done with the whole day session because the the energy is evident that it's 15 minutes of, or you shared something that's heavy, that needs processing, and we've processed, we've done that, and then now the brain is actually, it's asking for a little break. And another challenge with facilitation is when there's a physical break, when people have to go out and come in. People say it's just a 10-minute break, but 5 minutes before that and good 10 minutes after that is what we lose out. So 25 minutes, and the energy is scattered, right? You step out, you get a call from somebody, and you don't come back with the same kind of energy. So, I mean, sorry, I started ranting because the energy is extremely important. Understanding the energy of the room. Um, I can sense when a session is mandatory versus a session um, is for people who self-nominated themselves. The energy is very different, and and so reading them, making eye contact, being there, reading what they are experiencing, and then taking them off for a little while, and then bringing them back. Those things kind of help manage the energy better in the room.
And I think that's what makes it more of an art than a science, because the journey is as meaningful as whatever it is that you're trying to help the group to process, whether it is a training or learning session, whether it is a discussion, whether it is a brainstorming, whether it is a boardroom discussion. I think the movements that happen in the discussion. They're very, very important. And, a couple of points that I would love to add on to from what you shared is the eye contact. And I think the natural group that we could have is a circle so that people are able to see each other. It should not be
Theater seating.
and then seating as if in a classroom. Then that's one way. So a circle is the most natural thing. Um, of course, there are my you know there's this book called Open Space Technology, which is more like a coffin. So the author here is kind of forgetting his name. He's he.
The wise old man from Kerala.
He's from Kerala. So, so he's talking more about a kind of a coffee table conversation. So I think how we communicate the fundamental concept in that book is that it is uh, how we interact with each other is also a technology. How we speak, how we sit together, stand together, what we do while we're there. And one of the things that I find when I'm kind of able to sense that energy, the ebb and the flow, I'm also able to sense when somebody has something they want to say, but they don't know how to articulate that. And therefore, I'm able to create that little bit of a space for this person to feel safe to be able to share, to try. And when you do that, you're able to get the entire group energies to support, bring out what this person is uh, trying to articulate. It also helps some of the other shyer ones, the less assertive people, to feel comfortable in even in trying to at least articulate what's there in their heart. And it's very satisfying. It's when you're able to sense this ebb and flow, and you're able to find out that here is somebody who is thinking about it. Like you use the words, you can hear the meshing of the gears. So you can literally sense that. And you're able to get them to help them to bring out what they were struggling to bring out on their own. Um, I think there is also, we are creatures of rituals, and the ability to um, kind of do something together is exceptionally powerful. Especially, I mean, you call it icebreakers and what have you, but I think it's simply looking at the energy and then at that moment be alive to what could you do right now that can enhance, bring out the good aspects of the energy. At the same time, there are also situations where, for example, you may have one person trying to dominate the conversation and not allowing anybody else to have a word in edgeways. And so, how do you intervene without being rude to the person, but at the same time respecting and helping others bring forth their what is inside them? And sometimes it can be very tricky because this person who's kind of trying to hog the limelight may be doing it unconsciously. It may have become a habit. It may be a kind of a psychopathy with them. And so sometimes it's very difficult. It becomes all the more difficult when this person is, for example, the CEO. And so how do you gently but firmly help them to discover that now they should allow others to speak? In the earlier part of my facilitation journeys, I have had a lot of my sessions ruined because I wasn't able to intervene in the right way to be able to help the senior person kind of get out of the way um, in time. Because there comes a time when you don't intervene, you lose everybody. Then I mean it's like, okay, I let me keep quiet. The quicker this gets over, the better it is for all. So you sense that kind of energy and as well.
Now, there are also times when there are people who don't necessarily enjoy the spotlight being put on them.
Yeah, that's another one. And so you have to be very careful in how.
Right. So one thing that I've tried and is when the rest of the group is actually doing something, I walk around and in a very mild one-on-one conversational tone, go next to them and ask them about, what do you think about this? Or did you find this interesting? Did you get this thinking? Did this get you thinking? And in that one-on-one conversation on the paper, I've seen them scribble things that are very profound. And many a times getting a response from them is not always in the same format that you need to be loud and be very audible, take your time and present. But I mean, that format they help, and they are thankful that I did not put them under the spotlight and I did not get them to share, talk in front of everybody. But then again, it's all about the awareness to be aware of the people, the different styles that people have um, within the same room. Uh, that awareness, I'm pretty sure, helps.
So there's another one which I think is good for a facilitator to know and to practice and to become good at, which is milestoning. So one of the ways, for example, that you could get a person who is kind of dominating the conversation or is not allowing others' voices to come up is to take permission from them and say, can you give me a second? I just want to do to see how far we have come, and then do what is called milestoning. You kind of say, okay, we started with this, we discussed this, and these are the things that came out. This is where we are. Where do you think we should go next? And so
Hmm.
it helps the others to come in, and it helps to kind of prevent also
A hijack.
a hijack into a rabbit hole, which you can which you might which might be counterproductive for for the discussion. The so that's milestoning is one way.